theme of this trip is things we wanted to do.
But didn't.
Oh, let's try it.
This one.
Thank you. We had these yesterday. They're so good.
Yeah.
So if you thought I was kidding in the last vlog when I said that these pastries were the bomb, well, I wasn't.
So cool. So good. Thank you so much.
For you, my friend, three.
Apple and sausage.
Yes.
Yes. We started out the day by hunting for breakfast and ended up crossing paths with the same pastry man from the day before. As I said, if you ever visit Cyprus, yo, find this guy and buy one of his apple pastries. It only costs €1, super cheap. We also stopped at this tiny local cafe for coffee and breakfast. Well, the girls had coffee. Me, I was on the beer for breakfast train, right? It wasn't about that coffee life. Today was our final day in Nicosia. So what we did is that we hired a taxi to take us across the border into North Cyprus, where we would spend the night and leave the next morning to head to Larnaca. Pickup time was 9:30 a.m, so we hustled back to the apartment just to double check that we had everything packed up and that we were ready to go. The border that we crossed yesterday, it was a pedestrian border, but this one, however, was for cars. Once we got into the Turkish Republic of North Cyprus, we were greeted by this, beautiful, it was a spectacular mountainous backdrop, which is the Kyrenia mountain range. While en route to the hotel, I couldn't help but notice that all the signs were written and displayed in the Turkish language. It was just like we were in a totally different place. Since our time was short, we checked in at the hotel, we dropped off our bags, and we booked a ride to the St. Hilarion Castle. Now, this castle was built into a part of the spectacular Kyrenia mountain range, and the only way to get to this castle was by car. Halfway up the mountain, we realized that there was a roadblock. There were also soldiers, and to be honest, it wasn't looking promising.
Yeah, I think this is
30 minutes route is close.
Oh.
Yürüyerek gidebilirler mi yoksa yürüyerek
Yok yok.
gidemezler?
Atış var, silahlı atış var oysa.
Yarım saat kapalı.
Yani eğitimin süresi öyledir ama
And from here we can't walk, can we?
Probably not.
No.
No, you gotta get driven in. It's military.
And just this road in Sırtlar.
Okay, so
Tried to go to St. Hilarion Castle, but even though we did not make it, we can still see it. Silhouette of the castle, way in the distance. I'm only a 9 out of 10 disappointed that we didn't go. Just a 9 out of 10.
So instead what we did is we got the taxi to bring us to the Kyrenia Castle, which is where I am right now. I'm just about to get some tickets. So this is like a full 360 view of the harbor. I'm also very tired because my body hasn't adjusted to the time zone as yet. I woke up this morning around 2 a.m. and I've been up since then. It's now probably closer to 2 p.m. It's really pretty here. The sun just got a little bit too hot for me, and the jacket that I'm wearing it got like a woolly inside.
drink.
It is a pretty big step. That is the most beautiful view. Kind of like water in the Caribbean, huh?
Yeah.
I have no idea if this is in focus. The Kyrenia Castle is a 16th century castle that was built by the Venetians. Apparently, there was a shipwreck museum inside the same castle, and we totally missed it. So the museum is home to a 4th century Greek merchant ship which was wrecked just off the coast of the Kyrenia harbor. It's also one of the oldest vessels to be recovered together with its cargo. You sure there's a stone? It more like a piece of bread. Don't throw pitas actually. Yeah. Well, it was pretty cool. I just wish I knew like the history more. Alright, cool. So that's the end of the experience here at the Kyrenia Castle. So from here now we're heading over to the harbor side where we're going to find some food, some dinner. For whatever reason, where we're staying at the monastery, they told us basically that you could be picked up by a shuttle, but there's no kind of indication as to where the pickup point is. So we're trying to figure out where the hell to catch the shuttle or just pay for the taxi back. Once we got to the restaurant, we connected to their Wi-Fi so we could communicate with the hotel to figure out the pickup point. While waiting for them to respond, we tucked in for some delicious Turkish food and a couple drinks.
That was a massive pepper.
Yeah. You want it?
That is the response that I was given when I asked where the shuttle was to pick us up from the town to take us to the hotel. I received coordinates. Do I look like a pirate?
We looked them up, and one place told us it was in the middle of the ocean.
We had to look up how to use coordinates before we looked them up.
And then even on the different apps, it's still in the ocean. So I wrote back and said, I'm sorry, I cannot find this location.
I'm sorry, this is 2019.
Please, I left my compass at home today, sir.
I really couldn't get it understood because they should have some kind of a landmark that they could have given us so we know where we were heading instead of coordinates. Who the hell does send anybody coordinates in 2019? You know? Anyways, thankfully there was like a tourist office center place, and the guy there, he was helpful enough to call and actually get an accurate pinpoint location so that we could get back to the hotel free.
We taxied up there and then we got halfway up and the taxi driver said no. So then he drove us down to Kyrenia.
So anyway.
And now we head into Larnaca.
The only thing I hate here in Larnaca is this one. I don't have somewhere to stop.
Oh, yeah.
Now you know where to go?
Yeah.
I think so. Well, we thought we knew where we were going, except for the fact that people dropped misleading pins on Google Maps and we were lost. Finally, we found the apartment thanks to these two kind people who allowed us to use their phones to make a phone call. 10 minutes away from our apartment was the Church of St. Lazarus.
The theme of this trip is things we wanted to do.
But didn't.
We was just trying to get to this church and the museum, and in true fashion, it's both closed.
Oh well.
I want to try it again tomorrow just to see if we can catch it.
We got 2 more days, right?
We're gonna go see the castle.
Just when we were about to leave, we saw what looked like a tour group going to the church. I ain't gonna tell you what happened next. The Church of St. Lazarus was dedicated to Lazarus of Bethany, who in biblical times was raised from the dead by Jesus. It's said that he fled to Cyprus because there were rumors of plots on his life, and he lived for like another 30 years after his miraculous resurrection. His second and final resting place is right here at this church. This right here is the tomb of Lazarus, and without question, it's a sacred piece of Christian history. To get into the tomb, we had to go down a couple steps. The ceiling was really low, the mood was somber, and this flickering light, it just gave such an eerie feeling to the room. At the front of a church lies the relics of some of what are believed to be his bones. Ooh, where we at?
Put this down so it looks like I know what I'm saying. The Castle of Larnaca is located on the southern edge the coastal avenue of Larnaca, known as Fuini.
He also writes that the castle was mainly used in the same period for firing guns salute to Christian warships.
On the left here is a beautiful, actually there are inscriptions on that. I'm kind of surprised that they actually leave it open up to the elements.
Of the tomb. They were saying, like, I'm surprised they left the tomb open, that you can touch his tomb in the church.
Because I think it's saying, because the Holy Guide was there praying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the wall in, where is it? Not Israel, is it? The Crying Wall or Wailing Wall, something like that. People just go up to it and touch.
Other references by travelers confirm that the castle has already been constructed before 1625.
Does it have like a key, kind of, to tell you like where we are and what these are?
Those are medieval tombstones.
Oh, tombstones.
This one's got Arabic, so this must be from the Ottoman Empire.
I don't know if you can see it too well in the camera, but it's there. And our theory is that this is what the ground probably looked like back then, so they kept it as an example to show guests, visitors. Alright, so now we're just up on the top of the castle. The sun is setting here. This is the old original buildings here in Larnaca. The sun was setting, but the day was still young. It wasn't even 4 o'clock in the evening yet. So what we did is that we went to the next spot. And this one was just as random, if not more random, than the Fairy Tale Museum back in Nicosia.
You know what I like?
What?
I like big buns and I cannot lie.
The toad is killing me right now. So what happened is basically, it's it's split hour time in here. So this place opens up at 9 o'clock till 1, closes, and then reopens from I think 2 until 5. So we basically got here when it is
Open 4 till 5.
4 to 5.
Yeah.
She said she told me 2.
Okay, well then they're
So
that
Google
hours.
Google got me weird
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
I'm not
Beyond.
so hungry right now.
But
It's 5.
In the end, we didn't go in, but we had a good laugh about the whole situation. What we did do though was grab some light snacks and shisha at a cafe before finding this restaurant called Taki's Kebab House, which was probably the best meal I had while I was in Cyprus.
Hello.
hiya.
How are you? Fine, you?
Nice.
We have all the meat is fresh in the grill. The portion comes with salad, rice, potatoes, starters, everything. Lamb, pork, chicken, fish, fresh fish in the grill.
Are you happy?
Yeah. Okay. But can you find something for vegetarian? Yeah. I think I ordered Chef Tally's, which is basically a food coma on a plate. I didn't even have room to think after finishing that delicious meal. I mean, it was so much food.
Oh my god, Gabe, your food is coming in huge.
It was rice and fries and sausages and some veggies, and if I can remember correctly, this is what I chose for most meals while we were in Cyprus. Guys, this adventure is just getting started because in the next episode, we're gonna rent bikes, we're gonna go check out some flamingos, and then rent a car the next day only to catch a flat tire within 3 hours of getting it. Yep, eventful. So just to be sure that you are up to date with every single episode that I post, guys, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, and give me a thumbs up for this video if you enjoyed it. Once again, y'all, see you in the next episode. Peace and love. You're ridiculous.